Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who may not have joined a previous webinar with us, my name is Jamie Dumas, and I am the Communications Manager here at WellcomeMD. If you are new to WellcomeMD, we are a concierge medical practice with offices in Richmond, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Mooresville, North Carolina, and Naples, Florida. We are really excited to be joined by Corrine Lewis this afternoon to take us through a virtual cooking class. And Corrine is coming live from our Mooresville, North Carolina office today. Corrine is a health coach in our Mooresville office who is passionate about providing her clients with health education and simple lifestyle changes so they can live the healthy lives their bodies were designed for. Corrine has a Bachelor of Science degree in Natural Health Sciences. She's a certified functional medicine practitioner, and she has been coaching clients on health, nutrition, and self-care since 2011. We are thrilled that Corrine will be sharing 3 of her tasty and healthy dishes with us today, and they may just become your spring and summer staple snacks. If you have any questions for Corrine during the program, you can submit them live through the Q&A feature. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see an option that says Q&A if you're watching us live on Zoom. So feel free to type those in there. I will read them as they come in and give them to Corrine to answer. So with that, Corrine, I will hand it over to you to get us started.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. Again, my name is Corrine Lewis, and I am so thrilled to be here today. Thank you for taking your lunch hour and joining me, and hopefully you will find these recipes new, exciting, and really refreshing since we are in the middle of springtime. Springtime is a time of rebirth, renewal, a time to let go, shed off what we have held on to for the last, year and a half possibly. So I'm really excited to offer these lighter, refreshing type of foods that you can make easily at home that don't take up a whole lot of time, as you will see today, and that you can also travel with. If you are starting to travel again, or you have kids that are in a lot of different activities, I really encourage you to pack a cooler full of food so you really know what you're eating and can really support your bodies and your children's bodies from a nutritional standpoint. And so this is what I've brought for you today. So I'm really excited to be here. And the first recipe, and hopefully you guys have all those recipes. I know Jamie's worked really hard on this Lunch and Learn and sending everything out to everybody. So we're gonna start with the tropical kiwi strawberry spring rolls. Traditionally, I think if we think of spring rolls, we think of them filled with vegetables and then some type of protein. We're gonna put a little spin on it today, and we're gonna fill it full of fresh fruit. The fruit that is listed in the ingredients, if you have a sensitivity to any of those fruits, or you have an allergy, there's a big difference between an allergy and a sensitivity, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. You can change up the fruits that you want to put into your spring rolls. So when you see a recipe and it has on there ingredients, again, that you are trying to avoid or that you have problems with, 9 times out of 10, you can find some easy substitutions. So if you ever need help with your favorite recipe, I'm here to help you in any way that I possibly can. All right, so we're gonna get started. I haven't had spring rolls in a really long time, so I'm really excited about this. So you've got rice papers. You could literally throw these underdeveloped, so to speak, almost like Frisbees. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wet them so they become pliable, and then we fold them up like little burritos. So you've got a dish that's got your warm water in it so that you can then soak these just, for a few seconds, again, just to make them soft and pliable into your dish. Yes, my hands are clean, by the way. I washed them just before I got in here. And you can kind of feel how it's changing its texture, so to speak. It's becoming softer, and then that way it's going to become pliable. And here we go, because now it's really soft. Okay, so I'm just putting that on a plate, so hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, and then what I've done is I've prepared all of our fruits by chopping it and making little matchsticks ahead of time. That way we can easily assemble these so that you guys can see them quickly made up. So we've got strawberries, bananas, mangoes, and kiwi. A lot of people ask me, why should we be buying organic? Well, here's a few tips on organic. Organic food is grown in nutrient-rich soil. meaning full of vitamins and minerals. Therefore, the food that is growing in that nutrient-rich soil is going to be full of vitamins and minerals. And that is something that is vital to our bodies for overall health. Organic crops are rotated, so you won't have the same crop being grown in the same area season after season after season, because that also depletes the soil. And I would say the number one reason why we would be choosing organic versus conventional is that organic crops are not purposely sprayed with harmful, toxic chemicals. Think of yourself as the end result of the food information that you're putting in your body. We really want it to be the best, because then your body knows what to do with that, okay? So that's really why we would choose organic versus conventional. Conventional crops, and a reason to buy local or to grow your own is that it's in the same environment in which we are acclimated to. Fruit, vegetables are being picked when they're actually ripe, as opposed to a lot of what is in our grocery stores today. It's being picked before it's ripened, and then it's actually traveling 1,500 miles to get to your local grocery store. So just some little tidbits here and there to give you a better understanding of why we would choose organic and why we would seek out our local farmers, okay? All right, so we need to get started on this because it is very quickly getting like glue. In fact, I'm gonna throw this one out, see? So when you're in the kitchen, have fun with it. If you're not somebody who's totally comfortable in the kitchen, that's okay. If you've got favorite music, turn on your favorite music, get in the mood. Kitchen is where life happens, where our health happens, where love is, where happiness is. Some may disagree, and that's okay. But anyway, so go have fun with it, experiment with it. To be quite honest with you, there are many days when I have great food experiences, and sometimes there are times when I have epic failures in the kitchen, and that's okay. That's how we learn. It's okay. All right, so I'm starting with a new rice wrapper. All right, now we're gonna get to it. So we've got our fresh strawberries, and the recipe, as you know, makes mention of using 2 rice papers for 1 roll-up, and that's completely up to you. If you want to experiment with 2 of them, you're more than welcome to. It's really based on how much fruit you're going to add to it as to how big your burrito is going to be. The mangoes, how did I get them like matchsticks? This little tool right here, as you can see, it's got very seriously sharp blades, which I have scars on my body to show how all this works, and that they stay so sharp. But anyway, I just held the mango in my hand very carefully, went down the grater, and that's how I got these very cool little like matchsticks. Otherwise, had I done it with just a knife, probably would not necessarily turn out like that. So again, experiment and have fun. If you want to change up the fruit, go for it. There's no set rules. All right. So we've got strawberries, bananas, mangoes, and kiwi. And as you can see, can you see that? I've built my burrito, and now we're gonna fold the burrito. So I like to fold up the sides first, just as we would a burrito. Fold them in together, and hopefully they can touch. And then we're gonna start folding up the sides. And again, however you like to fold, fold. But the theme of it is to get it rolled together and touching, because then it's going to stick together. And we literally have made 1 fruit spring roll. So it's that easy. Hopefully you think it's easy. All right, so I'm just going to dunk my next one in it. Hopefully you guys are having fun. As the water cools, then it's going to take longer for the rice paper to become softer. So you may need to add a little bit of warm water or even change it out when you're at home. It's totally okay. Nobody's watching you. All right, so our water is still nice and warm enough to make the rice paper flat. And we're just going to, oh, you know what? Okay, as you're reading the recipe, I'm sure you're saying, hey, Corrine, you didn't add in the mint. Okay, so this time I'm going to add in the mint. If you're somebody who doesn't care for mint, you don't have to add the mint. It's just a nice little garnish. It is packed with flavor. In fact, I grow mint in my garden, and just walking up to it, you can smell it, but once you, break off a piece of mint, as I'm going to show you right here, wow, it is so aromatic. It's just wonderful. But again, if you don't like it, no big deal. All right, so I'm going to pinch off some mint. They're calling for, I think, just a couple of leaves. So I'm just going to take off a little end there. And again, I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of like chop it up. So now we've got a little bit of garnish. And again, it's another flavor within your fruit burrito or spring roll. Okay, so now I've got number 2 put together. All right, so then I'm going to show you. So then we're making like a drizzle or a dip. You can either drizzle it within the spring roll, or you can just use it as a dip afterwards. That is going to consist of honey, and I always buy raw local honey because, again, it is made in which the environment I am acclimated to, and it can definitely help with allergies. And allergies are really, they almost seem like they're out of control right now. We've had so much rain here in North Carolina through the winter months that pollen is bursting everywhere. The tree pollen actually has gone down significantly, thank goodness, but now we've got grass pollen, and behind that will be ragweed pollen. So local honey can help with that. And then we've also got vanilla, and then we've got some fresh squeezed lime. I just wanted to show you how I do it. Just literally cut it in half, and then I'm just squeezing it out in there and mixing it, and then that is our dip for our fruit spring rolls. Okay, and you can, again, you can offer it either inside the spring roll, or you can have it as a dip on the side of a plate. You know, let's say that you're gathering with friends and you're doing this as like a little finger food or appetizer or a little dessert afterwards. Again, do it however you want. So this is the spring roll, and hopefully you feel more comfortable with creating them. They really are easy once you get the hang of, again, the rice paper and, you know, dipping it in the warm water till it becomes more pliable, and then have a plate near you, because you don't want to dry them, because then it's not going to work. And again, you're just making them pliable. That way you can fold them easily. And if you've never had spring rolls, I really encourage you to give it a try. It's fun. You can find the rice paper, honestly, at your local grocery store. Should very easily be able to find that. If you don't see it, ask somebody for help. You know, my thing is with it, you know, just have fun. Have fun in the kitchen. Again, if you have children, get them involved, because this is I think that this is such an important basic life skill that everybody should have knowledge of. You know, we don't all have to be culinary masterworks. I'm certainly not, but I definitely did get the gift of learning how to cook from my grandmother, who I miss dearly. She used to watch Julia Childs and would cook, so she was an amazing cook. I'm not at that level, but I think I do okay. Again, have fun with it. Experiment with different foods and flavors together. I don't think anything can go wrong. That's how I feel.
How do you differentiate organic from certified organic?
Well, a lot of it is going to be the actual label. To get that USDA organic label actually is very, very tough for local farmers, and they will actually tell you that. It's a really lengthy and stringent process, but I think it's something that's important. I do believe that we need to know where our food is coming from and how it's grown. I'll go to the local farmers markets and just, you know, talk to the farmers, ask them what their farming practices is. It's not that I'm just looking for information and looking to see, you know, what their thoughts are about all of the information that is out there. I do believe that any opportunity that we have to reduce our overall exposure to harmful chemicals is something that should be at the forefront for us, because it really has an impact on our overall health. Toxicity is stored in our fat tissues and can be stored in our bodies for years, for years. So the difference between organic and then the certified USDA organic label is stringent and a process for businesses. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, we are gonna move on to my savory dill flaxseed crackers. This is another recipe where have fun with it. If you are someone who loves a ton of flavor and you like hot and spicy, dishes on everything, then you can add other seasonings and flavors to this particular dish. Most people, they want a crunch when they eat because they find that to be very satisfying. I love a crunch, so if I feel like my day has gone without a crunch, then I'm looking for a crunch. Flax seeds, just a tremendous seed to include from a healthy fat perspective, and also just ton of fiber. It's really good. The difference between flax seeds and flax meal, one has just been blended and broken down, but flax meal almost looks like a flour, is actually easier on the digestive system to digest and assimilate. But for today, we're making whole flaxseed crackers, and I absolutely love these. They go very well with most everything.
We had someone who said that they ordered from Whole Foods and they sent ground flaxseed. Is it okay to proceed?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I typically have both on hand depending on what I'm making. I'll actually throw flax seeds on top of my salads. I'll put flax meal in a soup just to give it some bulk, plus some fresh greens. And again, really heightening up our fiber content, because the goal of consuming fiber per day per person really is anywhere from 35 to 46 grams a day. If we start to focus on that number, we think, oh, that's easy. If we're not consuming more plant-based foods, you may find that it's a little more challenging than what you thought. But that is something that, again, is really, really important for overall health, reducing obesity risk, reducing diabetes risk. So fiber intake is really a very preventative measure, something that we can work on. If it's not a common ingredient in your daily nutrition, then just start to work on it. Make a goal of 10 to 15 grams per day and just continue to add on that. But flax seeds are a great way to go. Chia seeds are another one. Hemp seeds are a good source of fiber as well. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. I love them. So with the flaxseed recipe, it's really simple. I went ahead and made the flaxseed just because we only have so much time today. But I'm going to show you. So we've got our, this is a very large 4-cup. You obviously don't need 4 cups, but you're going to pour 1 cup of your flax seeds in your bowl. Then you're going to add in a 1/2 cup of water, because the big thing with these flax seeds that we don't have the necessarily instant gratification is we've got to let them soak overnight. Okay, so if you have something coming up and you want to have flaxseed crackers on hand, then this is something that you definitely need to prepare the night before. Okay, so you're adding your flax seeds to your measuring cup, you're adding your water, and then you are adding garlic powder if you like it. Great. If you have a sensitivity or an allergy to it, then you can leave it out, add something else. This is where you can add in, if you like hot and spicy, you could add cayenne pepper to it, or even a hot curry, and then adding in the Himalayan salt. Personally, I love dill pickles, so I'll actually add a little bit of dill pickle juice to the water. So it calls for a 1/2 cup of water. So I'll typically do a 1/4 cup of water, and then I'll add in some pickle juice, and then I'll actually add in a little bit of apple cider vinegar, because I like that tangy, savory taste. That's something that I really enjoy. So again, this is something very simple that you can make all kinds of substitutions when it comes to herbs and seasonings. You could actually put in fresh dill if you wanted to, or if you have dried dill, then just add dried dill. And then you're just gonna mix everything up. If you have a lid for your bowl, perfect, put the lid on it. If you don't, then just wrap it with a little bit of aluminum foil, stick it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day you're going to basically, I'll keep this here so everybody can see it. You're gonna take your mixture. So we're just doing a little bit of pretending. You're gonna take your mixture and then you're gonna dump it out on your tray that has parchment paper so that the flax seeds do not stick to your pan. So you're gonna line the pan with parchment paper, pour out your flaxseed mixture, and then I use, just one of these like spatulas, and I smooth it out. What you wanna do here is you wanna smooth it out into a thin layer. That way it cooks all the way through. If you make the layer thick, because you want really thick crackers, you may find that the midsection does not end up really cooking very well to where it gets crunchy. It may just be kind of soft. So that's ultimately why you want to have a thin layer of it. And then you're gonna prepare it in the oven at 275 degrees. And I would say start with 60 minutes. And then at the end of 60 minutes, open up the oven and start testing out to see if it's crunchy kind of all the way through. And I just start breaking up pieces. So as you can see, it's thin. And then I'm just breaking it up into pieces. I'm not somebody that has to have everything uniform. I just kind of like wing it and just break it up, and because it ends up going in my mouth anyway, so it doesn't bother me. So this is something that you could add to soups. Gosh, really anything, salads, but it's gonna go great with our hummus today. So that is the flaxseed crackers. I hope that you try it and I hope that you enjoy them. I love them. I typically don't have enough on hand. So last night I was really tickled to be making a whole batch of them. Now on to my silky and smooth hummus. I love this recipe. Absolutely love this recipe. So I'm gonna move over here and I'll bring my recipe with me. This is something, again, that you can make because it's actually gonna make a lot of hummus, and then you could store part of it in the freezer and then keep some of it on hand in the refrigerator. You can easily travel with this, obviously not on an airplane, but you know what I mean, in the car if you're going somewhere. And then I'm gonna show you some different options for enjoying the hummus too. Sometimes I'll use it as a spread if I'm making a wrap. That's one way that you can use it. And then I'm going to show you with the crackers, and then certainly vegetables, because we want to consume anywhere from 5 to 7 1-cup servings of vegetables a day. We are going to go ahead and start adding, if you do beans in the cans, which I do, I get it. A lot of people will tell me, Corrine, I just don't have time for all this. I understand that. Where I want to encourage you is to make time for your health, because it's really important. Because if we don't have our health, we don't have anything else. But there are times when I do buy organic canned food. I'm just looking for labels. The USDA organic, this says non-GMO. I don't really know for sure. And then it says that the can is not lined with the BPA liner. So I'm trusting that what they're telling me is the truth, but to be quite honest with you, that's not always the case. So I've gone ahead and rinsed the beans because they're usually full of a lot of gas, which can then digestively make for some discomfort. If you're somebody who has a hard time digesting beans, one way that you can still make this hummus recipe is to buy dried beans. You're gonna soak them in water overnight, and then you can actually let them sprout, because that is helping to break down the beans, and it actually is easier on our digestive system. So you can still make the hummus recipe. But today, for the ease, we're gonna do it with the cans. All right, so I've got 1 can of garbanzo beans. Traditionally, you will see hummus made with just garbanzo beans or chickpeas. There's another word for it. However, this recipe, what I found was garbanzo beans mixed with Great Northern beans. The northern beans just make it really silk and smooth, like velvety. So that's how I like it. All right, again, I've gone ahead and rinsed the beans just to make it easier, okay? So we're literally just putting everything in a blender, and then the blender's gonna do the work for us. How good is that? All right. Okay, we're gonna add in half a cup of tahini. So tahini is sesame seed paste. Again, if you have a food allergy to sesame seeds or a sensitivity, that's where you can substitute using a nut butter. Okay, so there are still ways that we can create these recipes. But I was able to find tahini, which is wonderful. I'm actually gonna add in the olive oil first. Now, I've made this both with olive oil and coconut oil. Why do I like the coconut oil? Because I actually like to make the hummus warm and eat it that way. And the coconut oil just goes really good with that. But either way, let's say you didn't have any olive oil on hand at the house, but you do have some coconut oil, then you can gently heat up the coconut oil and add in, we're calling for 1/3 of a cup in, and make it with that too. So don't, there are still things that we can do to make food. So don't feel like you get stuck. Because, you know, sometimes I don't have all the ingredients either, and then I'm bummed out. But it's okay. We can make things happen. All right, use my fork. And then I think we want a half a cup of tahini. What's nice about the tahini when you buy it, you know, in the grocery store, and where can you find it in the grocery store? So every grocery store is different, but what I have found at most grocery stores is it actually is amongst the peanut butter and fruit spreads aisle, okay? Now I'm just pouring the olive oil and the tahini in here. And again, if you don't have tahini, then use a nut butter. All right, let's talk about food sensitivities. All right, a food allergy and a food sensitivity, they are different. And if somebody tells you they are not different, you can very politely say that is incorrect. So a food allergy is an immediate response. If we have children, we know it's immediate because typically it's anaphylactic, okay? Food sensitivity, you can feel pretty awful, but it's more of a delayed reaction. A food sensitivity can actually be a delayed reaction up to 72 hours. And then your body starts talking to you through different types of symptoms. So that is the real big difference between a food allergy and a food sensitivity. And again, food sensitivities can manifest themselves into headaches, migraines, insomnia, gut issues, a lot of gut issues, reflux. The one thing that I would really emphasize, what we're seeing a lot of right now, is emotional well-being issues. Anxiety and depression are actually related back to food sensitivities. So if anybody is struggling out there, I would really encourage you to get a food sensitivity test done, because it can be very eye-opening as to what food information you're putting in your body that your body is not recognizing anymore. And then once you do an elimination, it's amazing how people start to feel better. And that's the goal. We want everybody to feel amazing. All right, so I've got my olive oil in here, my tahini, my beans. I've got to add some water. And then we're gonna do some garlic cloves. And even though we've got specific measurements on the recipes, you may have to make some adjustments based on what you're mixing up and seeing, okay? So don't be shy about that either. All right, so then we're doing garlic cloves. Well, we can do the lemons. Let's do the garlic. So this is an actual garlic press, and it makes life very easy. I'm gonna show you how easy it makes it. You're literally gonna put a garlic clove in that little hole, and then you're going to bring the press and watch. You're just gonna, this is a really good hand workout to make your hands strong. And then you just press it out. And again, you can adjust the garlic per your taste. It doesn't have to be written in stone what is on the recipe, okay? So again, have fun with your creation. That one's not giving me a whole lot. Okay, so if that's the case, another option is I found these little stir-in garlic paste that you can easily use if you don't typically have garlic on hand. So again, there's lots of ways that we can make life easier for you, but you're still cooking from home, because when you're cooking from home and creating, you're in control of the ingredients. That means you're in control of your health. All right, so I cut the lemons already and I just kind of kicked out the seeds. So now I'm just gonna squeeze the lemons. Again, it's another great hand workout. If you're not a huge fan of lemon, then, you know, back off on the lemon. If you prefer lime, add the lime. It's okay. I think the other flavor that really comes to life in this recipe is the cumin. It just adds a flavor to it that is just really wonderful. So adding the cumin in, and then I love my pink Himalayan salt. And again, that's something that, yes, the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. Himalayan salt is definitely more concentrated. So depending on what you have, I would say start small and then you can do taste testing to see the right taste for you, okay? All right, we have everything? I think so. Oh, dill. Okay, I'm a huge fan of dill. Love dill. Again, if you don't like dill, then don't add it. But, oh, you can smell it. Love it. Okay, I know. Come on, Corrine. Anybody have a garden that they grow food in? I'm redoing my garden this year, so I don't have quite the selection right now, but that's okay. All right, I think I've got enough in there. All right, so I'm gonna put the lid on. Arrows facing arrows. Okay, it's gonna get loud. Yep, it's plugged in. Yay. These Ninja products are absolutely wonderful. I literally have scars on my fingers to prove to you that the blades never dull.
I did have somebody who just said, yep, I just picked some dill and mint for these recipes, which makes me excited too, because we have an awesome garden at my house as well.
Yay! Oh, that's wonderful. Yay, good. All right, you ready? Plug your ears. Yeah, this really takes no time at all. I'm just yapping, so of course it's taking more time. And as you can see, it really makes a lot. But oh my gosh, it's so good. So many of the store-bought versions, they're using oils that I would say are not as healthy for us as olive oil is. So I would just encourage you, if you're not already, make sure you're reading labels. That way you know what's inside the product. All right, I'm gonna try a little bit. Oh, that's coming together. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more of my pink Himalayan salt. We're just gonna go for it. All right, hold your ears. That looks so good. My gosh. So the best part always is eating, right? That's what we work so hard to get to. And it's okay if you make a mess. Don't afraid to be messy. All right. So now we've got hummus. We've got our flaxseed crackers that make a fantastic dip. But again, let's not forget, it's really important that we are eating our vegetables each and every day. If that's not something that was common growing up, or even as an adult, then I would just encourage you to maybe start opening your palate a little bit more and at least trying a food at least once, because you never know. I cut up some organic cucumbers. I peeled them first. It's really good to have a good peeler and to have good knives, because then that makes life easier preparing food too. And then I do have these organic baby carrots, which are just so delicious right now. So you can do this in multiple ways of enjoying it, through a crunch, but then you're also getting a crunch with fresh cut up vegetables. Use whatever vegetables you enjoy. What else? And again, this can be a great spread too, which I love. Now I'm going to show you this leaf. It doesn't exactly look like it's really happy. However, this is a collard leaf, and collard leaves also make great versions of spring rolls. So what you would do is peel off the stem with a fresher piece and actually have a pot of just bring to a boil of water and then turn it off, and then put your leaves in the hot water for literally just a flash, like 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes, and then they become also even more pliable. I mean, this one's really pliable, but you'll see the green just come alive. Put it on a plate, and this is something that you can enjoy creating a spring roll using a collard leaf, which again is adding to your vegetable intake. Very mild in flavor, wonderful to use, and really satisfying. People look at me like, oh, I don't know, Corrine, but I always say, give it a try. You never know. And you can fill this in with other vegetables, cut up vegetables. You can fill it, my gosh, tuna salad is wonderful in here. That's probably one of the most common ones that I create. If you like chicken salad, make some chicken salad, add it into a collard leaf and enjoy that. We've been raised on to consume all this bread, when in actuality, let's go back to consuming more vegetables. So that's just a little side note. Okay, so we've made all 3 other recipes, right? So hopefully you guys found this to be easy, and you're ready to get into your kitchen and start creating some wonderful foods. There are so many websites with recipes that can be overwhelming. But if you have an idea of a food that you would like to make, it's DuckDuckGo is a search engine, or certainly Google is the most common. And just start looking up recipes. But most recipes, you can make substitutions if there's an ingredient that you don't care for, or again, you have an allergy to or a sensitivity to. Like, I'm actually allergic to avocados. Like, my throat closes up, so that's not a good idea. However, I talk about avocados all the time, and I encourage people to consume them because they're such a good, healthy fat, and they are a very, very high fibrous food. But if a recipe calls for avocados, I don't not make that recipe. I just omit the avocado, or I put it on the side for my family to enjoy. So just encouraging you to be in the kitchen, spend some time, make the time, because your health is worth it. You're worth it.
That is a fantastic tip, Corrine. Thank you. And just so everyone on the line knows, we will share the video with you all after the fact. So if you want to watch again, if there was any step that you were still, wondering about, or just want to see Corrine in action, since she's a pro with these recipes, we will have that accessible for you all probably next week. It takes us a little while just to get the videos ready and up. But we will be emailing that link out to you. And I don't see any other questions that have come through. So we will go ahead and close with that. Thank you so much, Corrine. This was really awesome. Again,
thank you everybody for joining.
Yes, and thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you all had a tasty lunch hour today. And we hope you'll join us in the future. Thanks so much.
See you soon.